Yo, what is good, YouTube, and welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're doing episode number like 36 of I Build Your Teams. Honestly, I'm not totally sure what episode number this is. I haven't done an I Build Your Teams in like 2 weeks for a couple reasons. But with that being said, I am excited to hop into this one and see what we can get going. And yes, it is episode number 36. So before we open the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 12,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, and I would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. That being said, without further ado, let's hop right into it. First team today comes in from Hetty. He's got 16,000 MT on PlayStation, plays Wall or Caleb if the Giants are getting beat off the dribble every single possession. And Hito and Scotty Barnes are two really good PGs. In all honesty, since your Wall is not unauctionable, I would sell Wall. He's actually pretty decently expensive. If I remember correctly, he's going for 50, 60, something like that, 1,000 MT. So that's a card to sell. Make the MT back, because Hito and Scotty Barnes are not two guys you have to worry about getting beat off the dribble like you might with a guy like Big Z or Taco Fall, or even like an Arvidas Sabonis. Additionally, sell Wilt Chamberlain. That card is not good in my opinion. Kind of a low 3-ball rating, really poor release. I understand he's great defensively, but I would get rid of him. And honestly, I'd probably get rid of Arvidas Sabonis as well. There are a few, you know what? I'm just going to make this easier. I'm going to do this for a few teams in today's video. We're just going to rebuild your lineup a little bit. A lot of the players in your lineup I think are very good, but I would say there are some that I would probably take and change around some. Like Rudy Gay, I think starts at the 2. I think you bring Andre Kirilenko in at the 2 as well. Bring both of those guys there. Bring Scotty Barnes off the bench. You can start Scotty Barnes if you'd rather. Play him next to AK, but those two guys I would have as your PG. Bill Russell, in all honesty, I don't think he's quite worth his MT when you can get a guy like Karl Malone for as cheap as he is. You have Karl Malone already, but I would throw him in there. And then it's up to you if you want to keep Bill Russell at the backup small forward, if you want to run Big Z backup small forward, either one. I might even go Big Z just because of the size aspect. And then starting power forward, Taco, I still think is great. Starting center, we'll go with Mark Eaton, who obviously is still amazing. And then I think backup off the bench, I'm going to go Jokic at the 4 because you have Arvidas at the 3, so you can run this playoffs Jokic, evo him up, and he's an invincible 4, so he's a really, really good card. And then backup 5, we go something along the lines of Ralph Sampson. If you don't have the MT for Ralph, for the time being, just go with the Peter Gudmundsson. This team is significantly better than the squad that you have right now, and I do think, honestly, with all the players that you have to sell, guys like Bill Russell, Wilt, John Wall, and Caleb Barton, as well as Arvidas, I think you can get enough MT to buy those few pieces that you need to add into the team, which are Andre Kirilenko. Who did we have at the power? Oh, Jokic was free, so we don't have, it's literally just Andre Kirilenko and Ralph Sampson. So you should be able to easily get both of those guys to add to your team and build a team that's something more like this versus the squad that you had, which is this one right here. So next team today comes in from Dylan. He's got 250,000 MT. He just needs a better backup power forward. Also, in my opinion, needs a better backup shooting guard. That's just me. So shooting guard position is easy to fix though. I know you have Paul George locked in for Chet Holmgren. I don't care. He's just not a good card. Run Rudy Gay or Andre Kirilenko. Really doesn't matter. Pick one of the two. They're both elite. I think AK might be the slightly better card, but they're both absolutely exceptional. Run one of those two guys, your backup shooting guard position, you're chilling. Backup power forward, on the other hand, couple options. You want to go for some size, you want to go for to cheese for the meta a little bit more, go Taco Fall. If you want to go with more of an offensive power forward, more of a guard type card, go get that playoffs Nikola Jokic. He's free from Spotlights or Locker Code or whatever. Different ways to get that card. Even Jack Sigma from Spotlights is a great option as well if you don't want to do the work of evolving Jokic. Few options there for you at the power forward position, but yeah, Rudy or AK at the shooting guard, and then Taco, Sigma, or Jokic at the backup power forward. You get those two guys, literally the rest of your team is absolutely set. So that's about all I gotta say right now. Third team today comes in from Alec. He's got 984,000 MT. Got MJ, Hito, KD, DeMar DeRozan, Bob Nedelicki, Braun, Sigma, Blake, Eaton, and Vucevic. Good starting lineup. Your bench I don't love. Oh, by the way, you could always run Nedelicki with that team that I was showing in here earlier. So your starting lineup, who was your starting point guard? Let's drag this back over here. We had, nope, it's not this one. That one we're done with. This one right here, MJ and Hito. MJ and Hito is great. I'm cool with that. If you want to switch some things up a little bit, you could. I mean, MJ's unauctionable, so definitely would stick with him there. And Hito, because of his price, is absolutely amazing as well. So that's an awesome option as well. Kevin Durant at the 2, best 2 in the game. There's no doubt about that one. Nedelicki at the 3, I would run off the bench probably, and I would probably run LeBron at the backup 2 and take DeMar DeRozan out of the lineup. And then at the starting 3, I'd probably run Karl Malone, unless you don't want to run him as a card or as a person or whatever, but you could run Jonathan Isaac instead. But I think Malone's probably the better card if you don't care about the fact that he's done some bad things, which he has obviously, but it is a virtual card, virtual pixels, whatever. Jack Sigma at the starting 4 still, Mark Eaton at the starting 5. Go get Jokic off the bench. go get another big, even if it's like a guy like a Ralph Sampson, again, I think is a great option. We could go something like this, and something like that team right there is going to be absolutely amazing for you. Honestly, not going to cost you a lot of MT either. The only players you're buying are Karl Malone, who's super cheap, and Ralph Sampson, who's also not very expensive. You get those two cards, you'll still have 900,000+ MT to play with, even more than that probably. You probably will barely even lose any sort of MT. At that point, that gives you the option to potentially upgrade your point guard position. You could take Hito out of the lineup, bring MJ off the bench, and run a guy like Jokic at the point guard position if you want to spend the MT. Do something like this. That's an option. You could add a Taco or a Yao Ming or somebody like that to your center rotation so that you have even more size and even more talent. You get like a Dark Matter Yao at center instead of Ralph Sampson, and you could do something like this. Like, you'll have the MT where you could make this your team right here very easily. You could have this squad right here as your 10-man, and something like that, I think, is an absolutely incredible competitive level squad. Now, next squad today comes in from 1003. He's got 66,000 MT. Team is really good. It's a great budget squad. Ron Artest, Scotty Barnes, AK Rudy. Point guards are great. Karl Malone, Bob Nedelicki, Dirk, Sigma, Mark Eaton, Brook Lopez. Yet again, you might not want to do it, but you should probably just do it. Go get that Nikola Jokic and evo him and use him. Dirk is a chunk of MT that you can get back. You'll be at 100,000+ MT once you sell Dirk, and Jokic is a better card than Dirk. You can have Jokic and Sigma as your 4s. Eaton's amazing at the 5, backup 5, just go get Ralph Sampson. Now, the last thing you can do is you can consider at the point guard position if you want to save more MT for the future. You could run a guy like Hito over Artest. They're on the exact same level. Hito is cheaper. They're different cards. If you want to stick with Artest, feel free, but you can run Hito as a cheaper option if you want to do that, but that is up to you. Only cards that I definitely would get would be Playoff Jokic to replace Dirk and Ralph Sampson to replace Brook Lopez. Sell those guys, make the MT back from them, and then continue to work on saving MT for next week's drop, because next week's drop, the draft drop, is going to be crazy. Third to last team today comes in from Son of Car, my boy Carson. He's got, this is no money spent squad. He spent some MT, made a couple changes. He said he had 70,000 MT earlier when he posted his team before this, but I guess he now is down to 8,000 MT. So, no money spent team. I know he's a Blazers fan, but I'm going to be honest, I don't think Clyde Drexler is worth buying. Like, I just don't see the value in running Clyde Drexler or Ricky Davis at this point. 8,000 MT isn't a ton to work with, and you don't have a ton of size, but Scotty Barnes and Hito Turkoglu are great. John Isaac, I would honestly sell just because he's more expensive than Karl Malone. I actually think Karl Malone is better. Point guard position, who did you have? You have Hito and Scotty Barnes. That is great. We will stick with that. That's like the budget point guard duo for everyone right now, if you haven't noticed. For anybody who's nobody spent, budget players, all that stuff. Sell Karl Malone, or sell Jonathan Isaac, buy Karl Malone. That's going to save you some MT right there. Pack power forward position. We have Sigma and Jokic. Those should be your two guys, 2 free power forwards. If you're not running those guys and you're a no money spent player, I don't know what you're doing, to be completely honest. And then the center position is where it gets tough, and the shooting guard position, because neither of your guys at those positions, in my opinion, are great options right now. I guess Clyde and Arvidas have a duo, and you're a Blazers fan, so fine. I wouldn't run them personally, but that's, I know you're a Blazers fan. That's probably part of the reason you're running them. And those two guys together do have a duo, so you can run that if you'd like, starting or off the bench. If you want to start them, I mean, it's called My Team for a reason, so feel free to do that as well. But the last two things you got to do, in my opinion, I know you don't have a ton of MT to work with because none of these guys are really particularly auctionable, but if you can save up your MT a little bit, go get a Rudy Gay for 25,000-30,000 MT, and then save some more to get a Mark Eaton. If you can find a way to get yourself 60,000-70,000 MT to get these two cards on your squad, this team is going to be absolutely set. For the time being, I would just run this. Just get Peter. I think this is what I'd probably run, because you'll have the MT to get Rudy Gay, probably not the MT to get Mark Eaton yet, so I'd get this type of squad and then save for Mark Eaton. So still, you got to use your Blazers in the lineup as well, and that dynamic duo. But second to last team today comes in from Jack. He's got 267,000 MT. He's got Jokic, Artest, Braun, Vince, John Isaac, Brian Scalabrine, Shaq, Taco, Ralph, and Brook Lopez. Yet again, another squad with a lot of good pieces, but things that I would change around as well. Jokic, honestly, is fine. I don't see very many people running the out of position Jokic, but he can get the job done. So can run Artest. For me personally, I think maybe saving some MT with a guy like Scotty Barnes instead of Ron Artest would be an upgrade. I would do this. Just save yourself a little bit of MT because Scotty is cheaper. You have Braun, and Braun is unauctionable, as well as Shaq. They're both unauctionable. With that being said, I'm still going to bring Braun off the bench, and we're going to pick up the cheaper of the elite budget shooting guards, which is Rudy Gay. We're going to throw him in there as well. Now, shooting guard position is Jonathan Isaac. Small forward position. We're going to bring John Isaac off the bench. You can even pick up a Bob Nedelicki if you want, but I am cool with running John Isaac there. Karl Malone's going to be there. We're going to run Taco backup power forwards. still, that is awesome. Starting center is now going to be Mark Eaton, and backup center is now going to be Ralph Sampson, and that is going to be your team right here. This is the 10-man lineup that I'd be building right now. If I were you, with the cards you already have, really, honestly, not that much change in this squad. You're just taking out Vince, you're taking out Brian Scalabrine, you're adding guys like Rudy Gay and Karl Malone, you're swapping our tester Scotty Barnes to save some T, and you're picking up a Mark Eaton, and that's about it. You do those things, really good team. Last squad today comes in from Hoodie. He's got 1.6 mil. This is a absolute flex team, but I thought I might as well include it. Jokic, Ben Simmons, Tim Thomas, T-Mac, Bull, Big Z, Manute, Taco, Smits, and Yao. Team is crazy. If you do want to make an upgrade, quote unquote, to this team, I'm going to recommend in-game Kevin Durant, and I'm going to recommend playing him as your starting two and going Jokic, KD, Bull, Manute, Rick Smits. That's maybe the best 5-man lineup in the game. I mean, I would probably play Chet over Bull, but I don't know if you want to lock in the MT for Chet, but you have the MT where you can lock it for Chet as well. I don't know. Maybe you want to save the MT for the draft promo, but I would still pick up KD and maybe not buy anybody else, but go Jokic, KD, Bull, Manute, and Rick. Off the bench, you got Ben locked in, so no need to pick up a guy like Luka. T-Mac is the second best shooting guard in the game. You could just go Tim Thomas back up 3. You can go Bob Nedelicki back up 3. You can go Karl Malone back up 3. You could go Jonathan Isaac back up 3. It's up to you. Run any of those guys back up 3. Maybe Tim Thomas probably because of the fact you have him locked in. Generally, I recommend running him at the 2, but if you're going to have KD and T-Mac, just run Tim back up 3, and then you got Taco, Yao, Artis, etc. for your backup bigs. Team is looking insane. It's literally just buy KD. I want to include a flex squad occasionally, though, because this is like the best type of team in the game pretty much that you can have, and if you buy KD, you're still going to have 1 million MT left for the draft promo next week, and y'all know what that means. That means Victor Wembanyama. So that is going to do it for episode 36 of I Build Your Teams. Hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.